Welcome back, everyone. Today, our special guest is the host of the Blazing Trails podcast, Devan Reilly. Devan and I go way back. We played high school football together. He was a mentor to me a little bit when I entered high school. Zach, did you ever meet Devan?
Well, so you actually came and talked to us a few times, but yeah, not personally. But yeah, you came and talked to us.
Yeah.
I think both my junior and senior year.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Right. Yeah, that was pretty fun. I never, because being on the football team, they'd have you come on, and we'd have guests come up and have a speech, and then coach asked me to do it a couple of times, and it's like, well, what do I want to say, or like, what do you want to hear, kind of thing. And I think I was blessed enough to do it, I think 4 or 5 years in a row.
Yeah,
and every time was different. Sometimes I'm like, man, I don't know if I really hit the nail on the head, and other times like, this is what I really wanted to say.
Right.
And like, I remember the first one was just, I wanted you guys to know what I wish I would have known at the time.
Yep.
And I don't know. I think just kind of leaving your emotions on your sleeve and kind of feeling. I don't know. I don't think I'm a very motivational speaker, but you definitely try, and you want to make sure that you just don't want their moment to go to waste.
Yeah.
If I had any go to waste. So.
Yeah. Well, Zach can probably tell you if he felt motivated.
Yeah.
Was it okay?
No, I mean, that first one definitely stuck with us. So that was my junior year. That was the first time we won a state championship in about 4 years. And so then my senior year, our motto was rough stock.
Yep.
And so that was, that stuck with me. I think we all embodied you and the kind of the talk that you had given us the year before in rough stock.
Oh,
so
man.
that was one of our motivations and kind of deciding factors for that.
Well, dang, man, that makes me feel really good.
Yeah, so you did good.
Yeah. I actually got after you guys won state, I still got that 2016 state championship shirt that says rough stock on the back. And awesome. I think it was the 25th state championship.
That one would have been... Yeah, that would have been 25.
Yeah. So, I still got that shirt. It's one of my favorite shirts.
Yeah. That's awesome.
But no, definitely that was a big honor.
Yeah.
I really like doing that.
Yeah. No, it's no, that's cool. Yeah, I was gonna say my mug's here somewhere that those guys got for all the coaches, those rough stock. But I wanted to touch on that real quick just because of the connection here in Sheridan and going through the high school. Let's talk about, Devan, when you graduated high school, and then did you get right into rodeo right away, or were you rodeoing in high school? I don't remember.
No, I never rodeoed in high school.
Okay.
So it's going to be a long story, so just hang on for the ride. So I remember I was a freshman in high school, and I was at the King's Ropes, and there's a rigging on the rail. And I remember I was just getting into Chris Ledoux's music and really liked that.
Yep.
I've always, since I could walk, I wanted to be a cowboy. And I remember seeing this rigging, and there's this guy there that was a bareback rider. I don't remember his name, and he was just jacked, veins popping out everywhere, just fit, you know. And he's like, man, you need just intense. Like, man, you got to do bareback riding. It's so awesome. And I saw that rigging there for like $200. It had a glove, the rigging, pads, cinch, and latigos, just something you could get on with. So I was like, man, I got $200. So I went back, talked to my dad, and like, hey, I want to try bareback riding. He's like, well, you're pretty small. You need to get in shape. I think you should let your body mature. And then when you're ready, you could get on. But right now, I think you need to focus on football and wrestling. So, I've always took my parents' word to heart. And I was like, well, he's definitely looking out for me. So I did. I focused on football and wrestling. And then after my senior year of high school, I was I think everyone hits that point of like, what's next?
Right.
And you're in that bubble of the high school, right? So then you come out into the real world and you're like, well, at the time, I didn't know what I wanted to do for work. So I was like, well, firefighting sounds pretty sweet. Get to help people, get to stay in shape, get to do all this fun stuff. So I enrolled at Casper College. They had the best fire science program in the state. And I didn't want to just go to school. I still wanted to stay active. And so I was looking at what sports they had. They had like track, or they had basketball, but then they had rodeo. I was like, well, rodeo it was just always in the back of my mind. And anyway, so my uncle was like, hey, why don't you email the college coach and see what he says.
Right.
So I still got the email today. I emailed him. I was like, hey, Tom, my name's Devan Reilly. I want to ride bareback horses, and I'd be willing to learn, but if not, I would still be game to help haul hay, move stock, hold goats, set up barrels. I fought bulls a little bit. What can I do? And so he emails me back. He's like, hey, if we get Kelly Timmerman, he was the 2004 world champion bareback rider, on as a assistant coach, we can take you on. But if not, hey, sorry.
Right.
So just so happens that Kelly got hired on. So my dad and I drove down one day before, like when we got registered for classes at Casper, and I sat down with Tom, and Dad kind of told him like, hey, this is what he's done in football. This is kind of what he did in wrestling. And this is kind of his work ethic. This is what he'll put into it. Because I didn't want to waste Tom's time, and he didn't want to have his time wasted. Mm-hmm. So that first year was all just me learning. You know, then we had a thing called the spur board, just pretty much just a board that looks like the shape of a horse. You put your rigging on it, and you practice the spur motion. And I would do that for probably anywhere from 10 to 15, even sometimes as long as an hour every day. And I just remember just different pain. Like I'd have a shin splint in your arm, and just your heels hurt from kicking it. And I was just grinding. And I rode that thing probably over 100 times just to get in shape. Then you'd get on the bucking machine, and then you'd get on a saddle horse. And, you know, everyone knows what a bucking machine is. So trying to practice on that. And then you get on a saddle horse, and you just practice your mark out, having your feet in the horse's neck, and they lead you around trotting and loping and just getting the feel of that horse and how their skin moves, and feeling that rigging between your legs and gripping it and lifting. And how I would try to describe lift to people that are listening, it's not like lifting a weight, doing a curl or a deadlift. It's more like squeezing your glutes together and like arching your lower back, and that will keep your hips underneath your rigging and pushing in your hands so that you stay as close to that rigging as possible.
Okay.
And if people don't know what bareback riding is, give it a Google, look it up on YouTube.
Yep.
I'm not going to try to describe all of it. There's so much to describe. But anyway, I remember getting on my first horse that fall.
Okay.
And he ran out there probably 30 yards, bucked twice, and I landed on my head. I just remember thinking, oh my gosh, that's so fast.
Yeah.
I didn't remember any of it. And then the rest of that winter just worked out like a madman. And this is something that a lot of people don't know. Like in high school, I didn't really work out. I'd do like body weight stuff, but I never really lifted weights because I broke my back my freshman year playing football. So I was always kind of anti-free weights. Right. Just body weight stuff. So then when I got into college and working out with Kelly and these college rodeo athletes, like I really got into lifting weights. Mm-hmm. Not that I was putting up big numbers, but just getting into it, right?
Yep.
So I would be hitting the gym, riding the spur board every day, watching film, and just like we did in football, and being a student of the game.
Yep.
And that helped out a ton. And then I got on some that next spring, and then I just started amateur rodeo in that next summer.
Gotcha.
And I worked at a ranch here in Sheridan called Annex Bar.
Okay.
They're building fence with those guys. And so like I just kept that same routine. I would go build fence at 6 a.m, got off at like 4:30. Then I'd go to the YMCA, work out for an hour and a half. And then I'd go home, ride the spur board, watch film, eat dinner, go to bed.
Do it again.
Repeat.
Yeah.
And then sometimes we'd work 4-10, so I'd have a 3-day weekend. And then I'd go ride, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Because like I'd go to the Cody Night Rodeo. The entry fees were $25. And it's cheap. So, $70 a weekend, and you have an opportunity to win 150.
Yep.
And get on okay horses.
Yeah.
So
practice.
Yeah. So then I went back to Casper College again the next year and actually got to compete. So like that first year I just quote unquote redshirted.
Yeah.
Because you have to buy a college card to ride. And just same thing like football, you have the 4 years of eligibility. So I saved my eligibility that first year. And so rode my sophomore year in college. I think I ended up like 8th in the region that year, and got bucked off one horse. So I was pretty proud of that.
Yeah.
But definitely not where I wanted to be. I wanted to make the college national finals in Casper.
Sure.
So I got my degree at Casper, and then I transferred to Gillette College.
Okay.
Still at that time, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. I was like, well, I mean, I could be a firefighter, but it wasn't clicking. I wanted a rodeo. So
yeah.
I got a scholarship to go to Gillette College and major. My dad's like, electricians get paid good. You should do that. So I'm like, whatever. I'll major in that. Sure.
Yeah.
So, and then, where am I at? So,
Gillette,
so I went to Gillette, rodeoed there, and then like the top 3 in each region go to the college finals. So that first year at Gillette, I ended up 3rd in the region.
Okay.
Went to the college finals, which is like the Rose Bowl of college rodeo. So And how that works at the college finals, you get on 3 horses in the long round.
Okay.
The top 12 in the average go to the short round.
Gotcha.
So I think I was going into the short round like maybe 11th in the nation and draw this sweet horse in the short round called Little Linda, a paint horse of the Harry Vold string, and just awesome. And it was cool. I remember the announcer saying, "This guy's an electrician. It's time to electrify the arena." And I go out there and I ended up being like 81 points. I won the short round.
Oh, hell yeah.
And it bumped me up to like 7th in the nation. So like I was pumped. And
Yep.
then fast forward, I went to another year at Gillette, ended up 3rd in the region again, come back in again to the college finals, made the short round again, and ended up placing, I think, 6th in the nation.
Okay.
And then after that, I had that one more year of college eligibility. And I was like, well, what am I going to do with this college eligibility? And I had a buddy that was in Texas going to school at Stephenville at Tarleton State University. And it's kind of like it's a rodeo college.
Okay.
Like I'm trying to think of like a good example where like going for football, if you're going to Alabama or Ohio or any of them big college football towns that everyone knows, that's what Stephenville is. There's more
for rodeo.
For rodeo.
Gotcha.
Yep. There's more world champions in Stephenville, Texas than anywhere else in the world.
Okay.
So went there. I actually was one of like 12 people that had a full ride to go there.
Okay.
So like that was a huge feather in my hat. And I'm going to fast forward through that year.
Yep.
Like I didn't major really in anything. I just majored in rodeo. So
that's all right.
I just took some fun classes, and anyway, I ended up 3rd. There's something with 3rd. I took 3rd at that region that year again, and made the college finals. Went in the short round, I think like 3rd in the nation, and I drew this horse that is just a buck and fool, and had a lot of moves. This exact horse actually bucked off one of my good buddies that can ride dang near anything, and knocked him out cold the year before. And so like I was nervous, got on him. About 7 seconds, my hand slipped out and blew me out the back door and dropped me down to 11th in the nation. But I definitely would have been the top 2. And the guy that won the nation that year is now a 3-time world champ. Okay. So we had some stiff competition. But what was also cool about that year at the college finals in 2015 was I was a part of rodeo is very just a single person sport, but they did it kind of like wrestling would in high school, where you get points for the team.
Okay.
At the college finals. And for like, if you won 1st in the round, you'd get 60 points. Well, anyway, I was a part of that team there at the college finals for Tarleton, and we ended up winning the national championship as a men's team.
Okay.
So it's cool to be a part of that team.
Yeah.
And that's where I feel like in my life, I've always been very blessed to be part of good teams.
Sure.
You know, like I always prided myself in being, worked hard as an individual, but I've always seemed to flourish with a team.
Yeah.
So, like with high school football, with, the college rodeo.
Mm-hmm.
And so then after 2015, my mind was like, well, why do I want to work? I want to see how far I can go with this and see what my full potential was.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, everybody. This is a really long-winded story.
No, you're good. No, this is good. This is good because I don't know. I did not know this personally. So, and I don't know, Zach, if you've heard this either. So keep going.
Okay. All right. So then after 2015 in the PRCA, you to be a professional rodeo cowboy, the first time you buy your permit is what it's called. And so anyone can buy it. You buy your permit for like $300. And once you, quote, prove yourself, you win. Once you win $1,000 in the PRCA, you have the opportunity, you can buy your card. And that's an extra $500 to buy your card. And when you buy your card, that first year you're on your card is your rookie year.
Gotcha.
Okay, so since I was in college the previous 5 years, or the 4 when I was rodeoing there for college, since you're in school, you can buy your permit a couple years in a row.
Okay.
If you win money as long as you're in school. So once I was done with school and I was living in Texas, and professional rodeos start in, the season for rodeo starts October 1st and goes till the end of September. That's the calendar year for rodeo.
Okay.
So since I was down in Texas, I was like, well, 2015, going to buy my card and I'm going to go hard.
Yep.
So I bought my card and rodeoed that year, and I ended up hitting close. I think I hit 92 rodeos in 2015.
Holy cow.
I went to more rodeos than any other rookie that year. And the guy that won like $30-some thousand. The guy that took second made like $29,500.
Yeah.
I made $29,500. 400.
Yeah.
He beat me by like $100. So then back to third. I got third again in the Bristol Rookie of the Year race. And I think I ended up in the top 50 in the world.
Okay.
Which I was pumped about. And then, just the more you do it, the more you learn. And I got to travel with some world champions, got to travel and make some good friends doing it. And I pro rodeoed I rodeoed total for about 10 years, but I pro rodeoed for about 6.
Okay.
And so, did that. And then here this last year, I rodeoed. It made circuit finals. I think it was 2000 and it would have been start of 2020.
Okay.
Was when the circuit finals was for the Montana. And do you want me to explain what circuit finals is?
Yeah. What's the difference there?
So there's 9 different circuits in Wyoming. Wow. There's 9 different circuits, I believe, in the United States, and it might be plus or minus a couple. But so Montana is its own circuit. Wyoming and Colorado is the Mountain States circuit. Then you got Texas, the Texas circuit, and it's the United States is broken up into circuits.
Gotcha. Okay.
So when you ride at those rodeos in those states, so for example, for me, I chose Montana as my circuit.
Okay.
So as being a member of the Montana circuit, if you got to ride in 15 rodeos, and then to even qualify for circuit finals, and then once you place in the top 12 money earners in the circuit, then you qualify for circuit finals.
Okay.
Once you meet those qualifications.
Gotcha.
And then you go there and you ride 3 horses and you have chances at buckles and money and saddles and all this stuff because they have like the year end and the average winner at the circuit finals.
Okay.
So anyway, this is going to get into a longer story, so just prepare yourself.
Yeah, this is good.
You're going to learn a lot about me today. So I was going to circuit finals, and kind of in the background since 2018, I was losing grip in my hands.
Okay.
And a lot of people don't know this. I try to keep this a little under wraps. And,
Sure.
Since we're catching up here, I'll tell you. So,
yeah.
And I was losing strength in my hands, and I couldn't tell why. I didn't know what was going on. I saw some doctors. They thought it was this, that, and the other thing, but no one really knew. And so I went to that circuit finals, and I was working with this doctor out of Texas, and he's really been a blessing in my back pocket. And I sent in my MRIs, and I was losing muscle in my hands and my forearms, and I was just getting weak, and I couldn't use my hands when they get cold. And, like buttoning shirts and zipping my pants was a real issue. And I was like, man, what the heck's going on?
Right.
So anyway, I ride my first horse at circuit finals, do very well, placed. And then the next day, I think, he calls me, and I was in the car with my girlfriend. He's like, man, I don't think you should get on. I'm like, why? He's like, man, you got some stuff on your neck. Like, I'm worried that if you get bucked off or land wrong, like you're gonna be messed up or you're gonna be dead. Like, so like I'm sitting here like kind of freaking out hearing this news. So I had a big powwow with my mom, dad, and my girlfriend, and all these people that care about me. And I wanted to bounce it off and see what they think. And at the end of the day, my mom's like, which surprised me. She's like, I think you need to get on the next 2. Like, if you don't get on them, you're gonna regret it forever. So anyway, I got on the next horse, and I've been on him 4 times. He's a bucking fool. His name's Joe Dirt, and I rode him the worst I've ever ridden him. But I got him covered. And then the next round, I got on this horse called Prairie Rose of Sankey's, and just a bucking electric fun horse, and ended up placing in the round, and ended up placing, I think, 4th in the average. I think maybe top 4 or 3 in the circuit overall. Anyway, after that, I got into the Mayo Clinic.
Okay.
Because we still can't figure out what the heck's going on with my hands, man. Like, it's getting worse. And so get there, they do an EMG, blood work, MRI, kind of bells and whistles to make sure everything's okay. And they end up telling me I have this nerve, I don't know if you want to call it disease or disorder or something, right?
Okay.
They don't know what causes it or really what stems. They show that some of them think that neck injuries could cause it or stem it.
Okay.
And all it's a kind of like a chronic wasting of your forearms and hands.
Gotcha.
And they don't know how to fix it. All they could really tell me is that it plateaus to 3 to 5 years.
Okay.
So I'm just like, great. There's nothing I can do even work on it.
Yeah.
So ever since that, I got that news, came back. I was like, well, hanging on to a rigging, you need some forearm strength.
Yeah.
And so I made the decision to hang up bareback riding.
Sure.
Just because of just being able to hang on and don't want to cause any more damage. Football, wrestling, bareback riding, very hard on the neck.
Yeah.
But so that's why I hung up bareback riding. And actually this last week, I actually went to the Mayo Clinic and did another checkup and see how everything was going. And they say like it kind of looks like it's plateauing. So hopefully that's good news, and I can keep it going and keep getting stronger. And they don't know much about it, so I'm kind of open to anybody that maybe knows something about it, or if they have something that think might work to get some forearm strength back. But it's been a fight, man. It's definitely a shot to the old ego and the pride and all the other stuff, man. Because it messes with you. There's been definitely some tears shed over it, but
absolutely,
definitely for me, I'm lucky to have people in my life that are very positive and keep pushing me to be better and to, just every day, even if I start maybe kind of going down a negative route, they'll kick me in the ass and
get you back,
get me back on track. So
no, that's good. I love. Do you? I think was your mom right? Do you think you would have regretted if you wouldn't have got on those last two?
100%, man. I would always be thinking, what if?
Yeah.
I wanted to be the one that decides my fate.
Yeah.
I don't want anyone else to dictate it but me. So it was definitely a good one. And especially, I'm sure her being a parent and, definitely a mom doesn't want to see her kid get hurt or even have that, risk. So no, definitely my parents have definitely supported me in everything I did. So definitely blessed there. But
that's awesome.
Yeah, man. And then after that, I got a job with an electrical company.
Okay.
And I'm not going to dive too far down this because it's definitely a learning experience for me. But like working with the wire nuts with my hands, like was just a real pain. And I was a negative environment for me. Like I was at that transition period where I didn't know what I wanted to do because I just lost my, who I thought I was as a person, being a bareback rider and a rodeo cowboy.
Right.
I felt like that was stripped away from me. So I kind of I didn't know who I really was at that time, because I put so much of my identity into being that thing. And then I was just around people that were just negative. They weren't driven. They didn't have nothing good to say. And I went down a dark kind of a path there for about 6 months. And then, that's why I really wanted, like, very blessed to have like my girlfriend that she's like, hey, you're not the person that you are. Like, you're not positive like you were. You're not all this. So she's like, you need to make a change. I'm like, all right. Like,
okay.
All right. And like, it's definitely a shot to your ego when when you're being told by someone you love that, hey, you need to change some shit. So, but and I listened and I started looking for another job, started putting out some positive vibes and started doing this. And I ended up getting a job with UPS as a driver, and it's been the biggest blessing. Got out of that negative environment. And, like you always hear them quotes, like if you're you don't want to be the smartest person in the room. You want to be surrounded by smart people. If you want to be the most, if you want to be a millionaire, surround yourself with millionaires. If you want to be a positive person, surround yourself with positive people. At that job, I wasn't surrounded by people that were going to make me better. So I made a change, and I'm not here to talk smack on those people. Like, they're doing their thing, and I wanted something different for myself. So anyway, so I got a job with UPS, and it's great. Listen to audiobooks and podcasts all day, and I get a workout, and I've just pretty much in a transition period of my life where I'm trying to find that next thing and trying to stay positive about my hands and still just grinding, man.
Love it.
So anyway, sorry about the long rant.
No,
that's what's happened since you haven't seen me in high school. That's kind of that's 10 years of my life right there.
No, that's good.
Up.
That's wonderful. And I'll say my stepdad, Joe, he retired, I think, 8 years ago from UPS. He was there 30 plus years, and he loved it. And same thing when he was growing up in Rock Springs. He's like, didn't know what he wanted to do. And, at the time UPS was kind of an early thing, but his parents kind of were like, look, like, you need to challenge yourself or find some. So anyway, that's awesome that you got people in your corner and pushed you to do that. And, that's why we have this show. Zach and I is like, we want to hear those stories about tough, gritty Wyoming people out here.
And that's, I hear you, man. And that's the one thing I'm so proud to be, to have part of my name is that I'm from Wyoming. And get be a Wyoming cowboy or just say that I'm from here because it's something that no one can take away. It's definitely close to my heart.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I want to ask you though too. We didn't touch this on your story here.
Yeah.
When did you start your podcast? How did that come about? Because you've been doing that for
about 4 years, 5 years.
Yeah.
I think it's 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Let me ask you this. What made you what was the light bulb moment of I want to do a podcast?
I'll tell you the story. So we were me and my buddy Nate McFadden,
Okay.
we went and rode at Guyman, Oklahoma. It was in 2016. And I remember thinking, just going down there, I was like, there's not many podcasts that really talks about rodeo or what we do or mindset or positivity in that realm. And I was talking to him about, I was like, well, I wish somebody would do that. I wish I would love to hear it from a world champion's perspective and this and that and the other thing. And, I was like, well, why me talking about someone else doing it? Why don't I just do it? So we're sitting there driving down the road. I'm like, all right, buddy, I want to practice this. Let's see if it works. So I took out my iPhone. I put on voice memos. I stuck it in between us like this. And I was like, all right, man, here we go. And boom, hit record. And we winged it for 25 minutes and shut it off. And what was cool is my traveling partner, Nate, he's just pretty soft-spoken guy. Don't say too much. He's got some one-liners, but he's just pretty quiet. But then in that podcast, he blossomed and told me some things I've never heard before, and some advice that, like, I think I always ask, what advice would you give on the show? And he's like, do your best, and God will do the rest. I'll remember that till the day I die. And
Love that.
So anyway, I was like, man, that's kind of fun. He's like, yeah, man, that was really fun. So I saved it in my voice memos. I didn't post it or nothing.
Yep.
And then about 2 or 3 weeks later, we go to Lubbock, Texas. My buddy Sam Stewart with Bar X Leather, he's in there. He's got a heck of a personality. And it's like, Sam, let's do a podcast. Let me try this thing out. And he's pretty quiet. We did the show. And it was fun, too. Just us shooting the shit, just talking, having a good time.
Yep.
And anyway, he's like, hey, I got a gal up in Canada that knows how to kind of post these things and kind of can get you set up. So the next 2 days when we had off, I was just on the computer trying to figure out how to upload these things. And looking back on it now, it really wasn't that complicated. But to me, new, trying to do it over the phone and so much technology and me just being just a dumb cowboy, I was like, what the heck is going on here, man? So anyway, I ended up getting it posted. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to post the first 2. And what was funny is when I first thought about trying, I'm like, oh, this will be super easy. I'll just record it and I'll post it. Oh, no. It's so much more than that.
Yeah.
You literally, so you got to get the recording, and then if you got the software, you can edit it, and then you got to upload it, and then you got to write a description, and then you do some hashtags, and you got to post and let people know when you're going to post it. And once it's posted, then you got to try to promote it so people can at least know where to find it and listen to it, and hope that they listen to it. It just turned out to be a whole lot of work. But so anyway, I just enjoyed it after that, and that's how I just started doing it. And at first, I was kind of in the rodeo realm. There wasn't any people talking rodeo cowboys.
Right.
And I don't want to say that I was the first one doing it, but no one was doing it in that realm.
Yeah.
Now that it's a thing, because podcasts, everyone seems to have a podcast now, but what's cool about them is even if everyone's got them, no one's hearing your perspective, right?
Yep.
So anyway, now there's a lot more rodeo podcasts out there now.
Sure.
But it's cool to listen back where I got to interview some of these people before people, they knew about them, but not in that aspect.
Yep.
Or because most of the time, if you listen to interviewers talk to athletes, say football, you have them, how was that play? What did that play make you feel like? And you get the typical answer.
Yep.
But since I was a rodeo cowboy and they were rodeo cowboys and cowgirls, I could ask questions in a different aspect of, not saying my questions were better, but I was more on a, even playing field with them.
Yep.
So, and try to figure out what to draw out of them.
Yeah.
But it was fun. And then I didn't want to be limited to just the cowboy realm.
Sure.
At the time, that's what I was in. That's what I wanted to talk about. But I didn't want to be narrowed down in that aspect because I can only grow so big. There's only so many times you can hear about somebody, well, that horse bucked real good. Or, I got that calf down. It's like, and they have, they usually grew up from a rodeo family. And if they didn't, we also have heard those stories too. So I want to just interview people that I found had that work ethic, like that Wyoming drive, like we were talking about, that just go out there and they're not going to take no for the answer. They're going to put their head down and they're just going to grind it out. And, maybe been through some trials, but they come out on the other side tougher and better.
Yeah.
So those are the kind of people that I wanted to interview. And what also is in the back of my mind, I was thinking you've probably talked to somebody and got done with the conversation. You're like, man, I wish I would have recorded that.
Absolutely.
That was so motivating. I just want to go to the gym, or I want to read this book, or I want to start my business, or whatever it is. You're so pumped up.
Yep.
And I wanted to find those people that no one knew who they were, interview them, have them tell their story, because I think their story is great. and have them get it out there, get them people heard that probably otherwise wouldn't have been heard.
Absolutely.
Man, and there's some people that I kick myself for not being more stubborn about pestering because now they're gone.
Sure.
You know, because I had a buddy, he was more like a grandfather to me. Like, he worked on the ranch that I was there. He was the coyote hunter out there.
Okay.
His name was Alan Alderson. And I was like,
Okay.
Alan, you need to get on my show. And I just started it. I had maybe 6 episodes. He's like, no, nobody needs to hear from me. But like Alan's dad, like, they kind of like helped start the WYO rodeo in a way. Like, he has a history here. Like, the Bones, like, if you read any history on Wyoming, like the Bones brothers. His dad was like Big Bones Alderson. Like, it was just, anyway, he had some crazy stories to tell. When I'd go coyote hunting with him, he'd tell you some cool stories. And I'm like, man, those stories needed to be heard. And, you know, just me being young and naive and not stubborn enough, I didn't pester him enough. But no, it's, no. Anyway, so I just wanted to get people like that on the show, and that's what's kind of kept me motivated. I'm not, you know, I have a couple small sponsors, but it's not really about that. It's more about hearing the story, and I just want to keep it true to myself. So
no, that's awesome.
That's how it kind of got going.
Yeah, no, that's great. And we were just talking talking about the scheduling, like how many we put out, how many you guys are putting out. It's where everyone's different and everyone's got, you know, I don't know, just a different schedule of kind of the episodes or different identity, I guess. What was I going to say? Shoot, Zach, do you have any questions for him?
Well, so you kind of mentioned some adversity that you had to face early on in your, you know, in high school and stuff. But I wanted to ask how that, you know, kind of helped shape you and get you ready for rodeo, and then some of the other, you know, other things that you were doing at that time, or just as you were growing up, that kind of helped shape your personality. Because not everybody can just go and start riding a bronc or a bull, right? Like, I think there's a very serious, like, mental state that you got to be in to do that. No,
I hear what you're saying, and I feel maybe this is just me being me, but I feel like anyone can do anything they want to do. And it's having that belief and that desire, that burning desire that you want to get it done. Because if you look at that obstacle or whatever it is, and you're like, you know, that would be cool to do, but you have it with that tone, you're not going to do it. You think it'd be cool, but you don't have that. But sometimes when you see something, you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to do that. Where do I go? Who do I bug? What do I watch? What do I buy? What do I do to learn this? How do I get into it? And that's what it takes. And, you know, honestly, you know, it's kind of like that question, is it nature versus nurture? You know, are leaders born, or are they made? You know, I feel like, in my opinion, you can make yourself whoever you want to be. I feel like leaders can be made. Like, some maybe have a step ahead, but they still have to be made. They have to put through that adversity. So, like, my parents, when I was young, if I started something, had to finish it, whether I liked it or not. If I made that commitment to start, had to finish. So, like, maybe I was doing something I didn't like, but it kept me gritty to do that. And then, you know, I wish I had a blueprint for people that, you know, how they can get into something like that. But I feel like if you have that rolling around the back of your mind that, hey, I think that'd be cool to do, and I think you should try it. And that's kind of like, I'm going to go a different direction with kind of your question, but that's kind of what I want to show with the show, with my show, like Blazing Trails. Everyone's blazing a trail. You have your own story to tell. You're blazing your trail through life, which is way different than his. So when they come on my show, they get to tell their story. They get to tell their tale, right? And so, like, I want to, like, as being like a leader, and I strive, that's what I want to lead people. And I want to show people that, hey, if you're scared to try something new, I've never heard of, you know, there's that quote that you never hear anyone on their deathbed, regretting all the things they tried, you know, so you definitely want to, definitely try it. And so that's like with me, my next thing I want to do, and now that I'm putting it out there for people to listen to, I got to stick to it, because now I like my biggest pet peeve is when people tell me something they don't follow through. Drives me nuts. So, you know, I want to do some YouTube stuff and just showing people, hey, I've never done this before. I thought this would be interesting. So this is going to be my journey going through it, and you're going to see it. There's going to be a lot of failures, but with these failures, that's how you learn. You know, think about walking when you're a kid. You fell down a hell of a lot before you started walking. So you're going to have them failures, but then that's what keeps you going. So, and I hope I don't sound like a cliche like any other motivational Instagram page, but it's that's the way I look at it. I feel like you can do anything as long as your mind's put to it and you have the right reasons.
Right. Yeah, no, I think that's a great, that's exactly what I was looking for, is like just the ways that you go about, right? It's committing to it 100%. And if that's, and then trying it, right? You never, don't knock it till you try it, I guess. Or, putting yourself out there, exploring and trying these different things and seeing what really speaks to you and is rewarding in its own ways.
Yeah. If you don't know, you won't know if you don't try it. And this is going to bring back to what you wanted to talk about, Aaron. You wanted to ask about like doing the Cloud Peak Classic bodybuilding deal, right?
Yeah. So yeah, we can get into that.
Yeah. Well, and I don't want to dive too far down it because I know you've already had some great guests talk about it. But like for me, I was thinking about, when I was in that search of like, what's my next thing I want to try? What's going to push me? And I was like, well, what scares me? And I think like guys, they don't want to seem like they're scared of anything, but it's all right to say that you're scared of it. It's when you back down of it, then it makes you seem like a coward, and that's what bothers you on the inside. So like what scares me is getting up on stage pretty much naked and being judged by people doing something. So I was like, well, dang, I go to the gym anyway, might as well try a bodybuilding show. Right. I'm not saying I have to do 100 of them, but I want to at least do one to say I did it.
Yep.
And I'm not going to half-ass it. Like I'm going to definitely put in the work to show, so I have no regrets. Because if you do it, half-ass, you're going to look at yourself and think, oh man, I really didn't. You have that excuse of saying, oh man, I didn't give it my all.
Yep.
So I've been training like a madman, trying to get better. And like today, came over to Sheridan. I worked with Danny Harnish, and she showed me some posing deals just to kind of fine-tooth that. And my girlfriend was taking some videos and writing down notes, so I got stuff I can practice in the mirror. And we saw some things that are maybe lacking that I need to work out harder.
Right.
And so we're going to definitely be killing it these next 9-10 weeks in the gym to be ready for the show. So yeah, that's the thing is I've never done one. Am I going to be good at it? I don't know. Yeah. But I want to have that little piece of competition. I want to have that, the nerves again, and just something that's going to test you.
Yeah.
Like with football, you have that person that's across from you each play. Wrestling, you got to cut that weight. Plus, you have that little controlled battle. Yep. Rodeo, it's the same thing. So like, this is just a different aspect of that, and kind of I just want to live up to my motto. If I'm expecting other people to do it and I don't hold up my end, I'm a fraud, and I don't want to be that. I'd rather just lead by example. Yep. And I'm not saying everyone has to follow me, but I just want to be I just want to make it a little positive.
Yeah. I want to hit on when you were talking to Zach there and then talking about the bodybuilding show.
Yeah.
One thing that hopefully everyone's listening to this, especially your story, like we were talking about that blink, it's that gut decision and just go with it. But then also there's a big but of, hey, that's great. You've committed, like you're going to do it, but you've been putting the work in. And then like, I think I'm going to go all the way back when you emailed Tom and Casper.
Yeah.
You not only said, I want to try it, but then you also gave him this like, hey, I'll kind of be the freaking water boy. Like I'll do whatever you guys want me to do if I can be around. And I think that's like another, like you've got that gut feeling, but then also like, I'm ready. I'm here to work. Like I'm not just going to show up to the posing sessions with Danny and, like, okay, I was here at the and not put the work in leading up. You know what I mean? Like, I think that was, I want to make sure everyone here, like, yeah, Devan's, you've got kind of that courageous, like, I'm just going to do it. But there's also that you're going to put the work in though, that people don't really see.
And there's another thing too, is like typically as human beings, I feel like we're very tribal. Like we have our, I'm trying to figure out how to, like, you got your, I guess, let's just talk in high school terms. You got your jocks, you got your nerds, you got your cheerleaders. Like, you got those, but we also have it in today's age. So, like, you got your cowboys, you got your ranchers, you got your farmers, you got your hipsters, you got your skate. Like, people get it, right?
Yep.
So, like, you got to almost prove yourself to fit into that group. Mm-hmm. And, like, how people talk about cowboys being, they'd let anyone kind of, come in as long as they show their worth. Like when I first started riding bucking horses, I felt kind of like alienated for the first year because all those guys that have proven themselves in high school rodeo and even in college rodeo, they're looking at me like, this kid's never been on one. He dresses like a fool because, there's certain ways that cowboys dress. Yep. And you can tell it apart from somebody that doesn't know.
Right.
And so it'd be like showing up to a football practice wearing like soccer cleats.
Yep.
You know, people be like, what are you doing, man?
Yeah.
So anyway, once I start showing them that I'm not going anywhere, I'm here. I was the first one at the morning workouts. I was the first one to show up to practice. You know, I'm here riding the spurboard longer than the other college athletes and getting on the bucket machine double time and just putting the work in. You know, that's the thing. I think a lot of people are scared to put the work in nowadays.
Yep.
And not saying that I'm some saint that just works all the time, but like you definitely got to put in the time if you want to see the results.
Yep.
So, yeah, man, just it's a lot of hard work.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. No, that's good stuff. Let's talk a little bit about, moving forward. You had that, you got that news kind of about your hands, kind of going through that, kind of dark patch. And I think for anyone that's listening, I think everybody does, and probably maybe multiple times, who knows? I think you hit on one key thing that helped you out was you had a lot of great people in your life that were blunt and were like, hey, you need to make a change. Like, and what I like about that is you need to make a change. You could have easily blamed it on, these guys are terrible to work with, this and that. But so that's one big key is you had people in your corner. What are some other things that helped you think kind of get out of that transition, or maybe helps you stay out of that hole?
Maybe being more observant about it. I wish I would, before I went into that interview, you hear all these good things about, the person say you're going to go work for. Right. But maybe you need to go feel what you feel. Be around them and just introduce yourself and look around their shop. Is it something, or whatever job, whatever work environment you're going to be in, look around it and see if it fits your standards. Are their trucks clean? Are their trucks sharp looking? Are they painted on the outside? Are they rusty? Are they falling apart? Is the shop clean or dirty? Like, what standard are they holding? What are the people, your coworkers like, or what are they around? Or, and like for me to get out of that, I feel like if someone's going through, like, I think you hit the nail on the head, Aaron. Like, if you're going through a dark spot in your life, make a change. If you're, and especially when you're in them dark times, like it feels like you have the weight of the world on you and you don't want to do anything. Like the last thing you want to do is get off the couch. The last thing you want to do is eat something healthy, right? But it's kind of like the snowball effect. Like, I don't even know if that's the right effect. Like, you get what I'm saying. Yeah. But once you start putting one foot in front of the other and get moving in that direction, like, you know what, I'm depressed, but you know what, hardest thing's going to be is to get off the couch and go to the gym, because I know after a workout I feel better. Or reading a book and start implementing something positive each day. And just say, for example, if you're in that bad environment, but you think you see these people over here, they're like, man, they always seem like they're having fun. Go ask them if you can be part of their group. Yeah. What's the worst thing they're going to say is no. Yeah. But if you keep showing up, just like in the like switch, like we were talking about earlier. Yeah. If you keep showing up around them, not that you have to be creepy, but just be in the same kind of proximity, doing your own thing. Eventually they're going to be like, hey, what's your name? And then, I'm so-and-so. And what are you guys doing? It looks like you guys are having fun. What are you guys doing? Oh, we're doing this. You want to come join? You don't have to just be creepily staring, but if you just put yourself kind of in that zone, put yourself in that environment that you want to be in. Yep. And just like surround yourself with those people. And it doesn't matter what it is. I wish I could give all the examples in the world, but whoever's listening, find that. And they already know. Whoever's listening has this thing in the back of their mind, like, yep, this is something I like to do. Well, who's the best at it? Yep. Are they in Wyoming? Are they in Sheridan? Are they in Denver? Denver's not very far. Yep. And if it's something that's going to put you in that right frame of mind and right deal, like, yeah. Better, good people are going to make you better. Yep. Well, and I think we were talking about put yourself with other, if you want to be a millionaire, go hang out with the millionaires, figure out where they're at, or, like you said, whatever profession you want to do, who's the best or where are they at? Yeah. Go be with them. Yeah. And then those people, and you kind of have to prove yourself in a little ways because, them people have their guard up because they have everyone wanting to try to, everyone wants them to mentor them. Yes. But if you show that, hey, I'm willing to show up early. I'm here to take notes. I'm not here to use you at all. I just want to be a sponge on the wall. I want to be a fly on the wall. Yep. So Yeah.
That was great. And I want to ask you this, because you've been around some great, successful rodeo athletes. I think you mentioned something that I think everyone can attest to about. You mentioned like the workspace environment of when you're being observant, right, and talking to these people. Because I've been in situations where I'm like, yep, that's something I've always been like, if they're not taking care of where they work or they don't take care of themselves, that's a big indication of, they're probably not the best people we need to be hanging around about. Have you found, is that kind of the same for rodeo athletes, successful rodeo athletes? If you look back and you're like, their crew is always, everything's well taken care of. Their animals are well taken care of. Is that something that you look back and you're like, that's kind of a consistent theme that those successful people have?
Oh yeah, 100%, man. And when you see somebody and they're dressed like a slob and they show up to the rodeo and they're all haggard and, oh man, I got drunk last night, I can't wait to get on today. And it's like, man, is that, don't get me wrong, some guys win that way, but not very consistently. Mm-hmm. Or do you see the guy that shows up, clean cut, and he's got a nice, shirt on, starched jeans, sharp looking boots, and he's very professional and treats everybody with respect. Like, who are you gonna want your kid to go get an autograph from?
Yep.
Yeah, it's as simple as that. And it's double-sided. People put on a show in front of the cameras, in front of the crowd, but what are they like in the vehicle? They could go be 85 points, sitting second in the rodeo, and be like, oh man, the judges screwed me, and just be super negative about it. That's also a person you don't want to be traveling with. You want to be with somebody that, like, man, 85 points, I'm sitting second. That's gonna get me some money, man.
Yep.
I'm gonna buy a steak tonight. Or say he gets bucked off, but you're 86 points, and he's like, dude, that was the rankest ride I've ever seen.
Yep.
Your feet were flying past your ears. You're setting them in the neck. Hope you buy a picture from that rodeo because you rode so good, and because that positivity, that like-mindedness, that just breeds more of it.
Yep. Contagious.
Very contagious.
Yep. And that's who you want to be around.
Yeah, because it's all about, we always hear life's about the journey, not the destination.
Yep.
Literally, being a rodeo cowboy, it's all about the journey. Yeah, because you drive for 18 hours to get on for 8 seconds. If you just live for the 8 seconds, you just wasted a whole lot of time.
Yeah.
So you definitely want to be around those good people. And it's just like some of the best memories I've ever had are from rodeo.
Yeah.
And if, say, rodeo was part of my injury and that's what caused it, like, would I go back and trade any of those memories to get my hands back? No. I'd rather keep my hands the way they are and enjoy those memories, because I've got some of the most loyal, trusting friends that I know if I broke down, they'd be there in a heartbeat.
Yep.
No matter, hell or high water, they'd be there. So
It's awesome.
Yeah, man,
Yeah. Zach, do you have anything else?
Yeah, well, I was just gonna say that's awesome. There's a lot of stuff that I'm hearing from our conversations that I've heard, or all three of us have experienced and lived. It's doing the little things right. I don't know how many times I remember hearing Coach Jay and Coach Reiser say those same things. Do the little things right. Appreciating the process too. This is where I started. This is what I wanted to do, and we talked about putting in the work. Still you were doing the practices longer than everybody else, before everybody else, and not saying, oh, I don't need to do that anymore, I've done enough of that. I think that's huge. That's something that I try to bring to some of the kids that I work with. So I'm going to be a teacher, so I'm student teaching right now.
Nice.
And so trying to get kids to respect those little things. Putting your name at the top of the paper, writing in complete sentences has become a little thing that kids just don't want to do anymore, right? But getting them to understand why we do that, what these little things mean and how they add up over time, and really shape us into these really successful people, and people who just lead better lives. It's just like having a positive mental attitude, showing up every day and be like, this might not be my favorite class. History sucks, but I'm going to show up and I'm just going to sit down and I'm going to get to work and I'm going to do what they ask me to do. I think is a huge thing that everybody can benefit from. And so again, our backgrounds in sports and team and competitive kind of things, where we're able to bring our other teammates up with us and drag them up and be in those areas with them is huge. So trying to translate that into other areas of my life as I go on. So.
Oh, I like it, man. I like it a lot. Like to piggyback off that with, talk about making them little things focusing on those little things, because then they become bigger things.
Right.
Right. And that's, doing the mundane things and doing that perfect practice then will become perfect habit, which then will become part of who you are as a being. And then you don't have to think about it. And then when you just have that opportunity, you just take advantage. Right.
Right.
But also kind of on the opposite side of the coin, on the little things that, I had a teacher say, don't sweat the small stuff. Mm-hmm. When something bad happens, don't sweat it, move on, learn from it, move on,
Right.
But the only time you sweat the small stuff is it when you're working on honing your craft and sharpening that knife and honing that edge so that you could be as sharp as possible when it comes game day or teaching day or being in your relationship, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. So, no, I definitely like that, man.
Yeah.
I love that too at the end there, because that's super important. You still got to sweat the small stuff, but I love it comes back to, you got to have a mentor. You got to have people around you that can help you, like, hey, that situation's okay. Like, you don't need to worry about that. But then like, no, you need to practice that here. But anyways, let's see. Well, to end out, Devan, we're almost at an hour, so I think that's perfect.
Right on, man. Right on.
For you've got some merch, and we're gonna get some of your guys' stuff because I like it and I like that green.
Thanks, man.
Where can people find it?
Well, that's
is that in the works? Hit you up in the DMs.
Yeah, that's literally what you could do. Is hit me up in the DMs.
Okay.
But I'm in the process of building a website.
Awesome.
I'm gonna go right now. I'm gonna go take some pictures for it and try to get it put together. Sorry for everyone listening. I don't know when it's gonna be up.
That's okay.
But I'll definitely make sure I post it on the socials so that everyone can find it. But I just wanted to get something started. Something I wanted to wear something that, just like you, man, like that's a sick pullover. So
it's the only one. No one else gets it. No, just kidding.
Want to arm wrestle for it?
I think you'd beat me.
But man, I just wanted to do something that I would like to wear, and man, it's fun to represent your own stuff. And I'll definitely let people know, and I'll let you know when I get a website built. So
yeah, okay. So a website's coming. No, that's great.
Yep.
And then where can people find you on social media if they've never come across your show or come across you?
Okay. Facebook and Instagram, it's just Blazing Trails Podcast.
Okay.
The 3 words there. And then, you can find me on Facebook, Devan John Reilly. And then on Instagram, just Devan Reilly. So
perfect.
It's DevanReilly.
There you go. Yep. If they want to follow you personally, you have been, for anyone that's curious about the Clyde Peak Classic, and Devan's journey in the bodybuilding, you posted them on there. You're kind of your videos and stuff there. So if anyone's curious more of like the bodybuilding stuff, maybe go to your personal one.
I'll post a little bit. I'm not going to do no shirtless stuff.
Sure.
Last night I posted a video of me doing just going through the routine with my sweatshirt and sweats on because you can't see nothing. And it's more of a teaser. I was like, hey,
I love it.
Yeah, you can see it April 17th live if you want. So, no, it's fun. And and I always look at life like a book. Every chapter is something new. I have the high school chapter, the college chapter, the rodeo chapter, and now it's going to be the UPS and bodybuilding chapter. And then I'm so pumped. I can't wait to see what the next one is.
Love it. Do you have any, you don't have to tell us who they are if you've got them lined up or recorded, but do you have some big guests coming out? And if you want to share one that's coming out soon, you can, but if not, that's not a big deal.
I definitely need to get you guys on there. So
we'd love to.
Yeah, we'll line that up. Next time I'm sharing, I'll bring my suitcase over.
Okay.
And so, no, I'm trying to think who I got coming up. I got one posting tomorrow.
Sweet. Okay.
And it's his name is Zach Johnson.
Okay.
He goes by the Millennial Farmer.
Okay.
And he's from Minnesota, and like his deal is he wanted to educate people on farming because that's
awesome.
anything that's controversial or something that people aren't educated on, it's like say hunting or farming or ranching or something that he just wanted to educate people on farming. So he gets on there and made his YouTube channel pretty fun, and he's got a podcast. And I actually met him in Sheridan. I was down at Bison Union getting some coffee, and I ran into him, and he was talking with Bert, and we sat down on the park bench and had some ice cream. And I just reached out to him. I'm like, man, let's do a show. So I talked to him for about an hour, and he had some good advice, and he had some good stories to tell. And
that's awesome.
I learned something from it. So it's always good. And I think to round it out, like a lot of people always ask me, like, hey, who's your favorite guest? It's like, well, I've learned something from all of them.
Yep.
There's definitely maybe some that stand out more than others, but like I can't pick one because they've all impacted me in so many different ways. And once you interview these people, it's like you have that connection. You built that friendship over an hour-long recorded, interview or show or conversation.
Yep. Awesome. Well, I don't know when this will come out, but we'll definitely share that around when you post it tomorrow. Well, hopefully, if people miss it, you better go listen to it. Because, anyways, it's out now. So
there'll be more coming.
Yeah,
so.
wonderful.
Heck yeah, man. Wherever this posts, I'll make sure to share it as well.
Awesome. Thanks. Well, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for making the trip over. Sounds like you guys had some other business over here, but drive safe back to Gillette if you guys are driving home tonight.
Yeah, will do, man. And thanks for having me. And, man, I think you got a great thing going.
Thanks, dude.
Thank you.
It was good to catch up. Yeah.
Heck yeah.